You're going to like this one. Ladies, girls, I don't know what to call you anymore, women. This is a guy who's admitted that he chose his wife because she was rich. Straight up about that. But 8 years later, the guilt is starting to weigh on him. And this is what he's written. I've been with her for the money from the moment we started dating. I treated my relationship with her like a second job. I tried to be perfect in every way until I asked her to marry me. He wasn't planning it to be a long-term arrangement, was planning to file for divorce after about 3 years. However, things took a surprising turn. I fell in love with her. She truly changed me from the selfish I once was. She gave me a family. Our 8th wedding anniversary is next month. I still feel guilty to this day. He sounds as if he wants to kind of offload this, doesn't he?
Yes, he does sound like he wants to, but I wouldn't. Because she doesn't know. They obviously sound blissfully happy. He's now realised, actually, in the beginning, maybe it was about the money, but now I genuinely love her. They've got 8 years, growing up, a family. What's the point? And for me, him telling her is offloading his own guilt onto her.
Yeah.
What's he going to expect from that? Because she will have to react to that.
She will. I mean, do you judge him for this at all? It's funny, I was thinking about this. If this had been a woman writing this, I don't think anyone would really have taken any notice of it. But do you think it's different when it's a guy who says up front that I married her for her money?
Yeah, I mean, going back to the original question, I agree with Colleen. I think that honesty is overrated if it's going to really hurt somebody. One of my favourite quotes is, honesty without compassion is brutality. And I really like that because I can't bear the sort of I just tell it like it is brigade, because that often means that they're going to say something that will upset you. Listen, you know, obviously we don't know his particular circumstances, but yes, I suppose it is more common to think that women marry people for money, and it should never be applauded. But I would never judge. I've never done it myself, but I would never judge anybody for, you know, maybe he had his reasons.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we never know why people really marry. I mean, you marry someone because you're in love, don't you? And I mean, that's the big gloss that goes over the top of it. But underneath that, I suppose you are either marrying for what? Looks, or someone to look after you?
Well, I think maybe somebody has got maybe children, and they are looking for security as opposed to marrying to have, you know, private yachts and private planes, that they want somebody who can support them. Sorry, Brent.
No. I was going to say, this has just kind of reminded me of back in the day, and still in some places, there's dowries and there's, you know, I'm going to pay you something to get something back. I don't know if she doesn't actually know that he married her for money, and she just doesn't care. She's not bothered. And he could wail and go and say, you know, all those years ago, I married you for your money. And she says, yeah, I know. And that's what maybe she wanted. And rather than address it with him and saying, well, I know I've got this and you haven't got that, it makes it easier for him and for his ego and everything else if she just goes along with it and just say, here you go, baby, you have that and whatever.
But would it put you off? Like, for me, I'm super romantic. So I wouldn't care if someone had money or not with you.
No, sorry.
I wouldn't care if someone had money or not.
I would not.
As long as they were working.
Can you honestly say that? Can you
Yes.
honestly say that?
Yes.
I can say
Ray
that.
wasn't working when we got married.
I've been in that
He
situation.
was a job
Yeah, but that's if you're in the position where you are financially secure, you know, and we're fortunate enough as individuals to be financially secure.
No, I'm talking about if I was financially... The way I am now, like when I first met Ray, because Ray was like a jobbing musician, so sometimes he'd be working, he could go months without working. But I never once thought, well, he hasn't got anything to offer me financially.
No, but what I'm saying is, if you weren't financially secure, I mean, let's say that you hadn't found the job that you wanted...
I'm a hopeless romantic.
But wouldn't you
really fall in love, and I don't see outside of that.
It should not be about the money.
No.
I totally agree with Colleen.
Wouldn't you be looking for someone who could look after you?
No, you say that, Kay, but I'm not... You might say financially secure.
Yeah.
I'm not actually financially secure.
No,
because
I'm not.
if I don't work, I don't get paid, and I've still got my bills and stuff to pay.
And I've been so appalling over the years.
For me is when you're not having to think about where your next penny's coming from. I'm worried. Even though I've got a boot, I'm still working because I need to... Do you see what I mean? So, for me, it's more about what that man can bring me. Can you bring me some security in my emotional state, in my happy state?
It's peace,
and just
isn't
be there
it?
and
And
support
emotionally.
me. It's not about the money. It's never been about the money and never will be about the money for me.
Yeah.
That's just an added little cherry on the cake if you've both got and you can
I
enjoy
think
it
it's
together.
nice. Well, I think it's, again, not a materialistic person wouldn't marry somebody for money. But at the same time, I think that, and I know this may sound sexist or a sort of gender thing, but I do think that men, traditionally, historically, are not as happy if they are not earning as much or more than the women.
I agree with that.
I think it's
I think men find
conditioning.
it difficult,
I think
yeah.
they find it difficult. So it's not that I would have the problem if I had enough money to buy my own clothes and pay my own mortgage and look after the children, etc., etc. I wouldn't need their money to do that. But it's how me being financially independent affects that person.
Yeah.
And I've seen that dynamic change in different relationships,
and
the balance of power changes. I had you know, when Lincoln started to earn more than me as his career as an artist took off, I was thrilled and absolutely celebrate it, and it's brilliant. But it did, for the first time in my life, make me slightly insecure.
Really?
Yeah, it did. It was a balance of... Not that he made me feel insecure.
Yeah.
I did.
Oh, I
So if
wouldn't.
you're used to being the breadwinner, and as you say, most men are used to traditionally being the breadwinner, if that balance, you know, gets knocked out, then, you know, like, where am I? It's interesting. I do think it is. I do think it is changing. Gotta hope it does.
But I don't think he should... I don't think... And also, he married her for the money, but there were obviously other things that, you know, if he told her that, she might say, well, actually, there are other reasons why I married you.
I married you for your huge heart.
Yes.
No.
Huge personality.
Huge heart. Absolutely.